Hi, I'm Clarke of Clarkey Contracting. Being aware and observant is a key part of working around the harbor. Today, I'm going to explain what to look for when you're doing a boat check. When doing a dock walk, you want to look at each boat, make sure everything's okay. You don't want to have a sinker or have one break loose. But first, let's talk about safety. WorkSafe BC regulates that you must either wear a life jacket or a PFD whenever there's a risk of drowning without acceptable safety measures in place. So, follow your regulations and wear one. If you choose to use a life jacket or PFD with an auto inflator device, make sure you do regular inspections and write it down in your logbook. Now I've got my PFD on, let's do the boat check. As you approach, you want to look at the boat, see how she sits. Is it listing at all? Is it level? When you get a little closer, have a look at the water line. Is there any new algae growth? As you get closer, listen for any alarms. A bilge alarm, a high water alarm, anything like that. I like it when the harbor user posts their contact number in their window. Saves you from running back to the office. If the boat is plugged in, have a look at the power cord. Make sure it's the right gauge, there's no damages, or it's not being pinched or strained in any way. Next, we want to look at the vessel's lines. You want to watch for chafing at the high rub spots. Watch for sharp edges and such. Whenever possible, lines should be routed through a fair lead or a hawse hole. You want to look at the quality of the lines too. Make sure there's no frays or damage. Lines are either a poly or a nylon. You want to ensure each boat is tied up with at least 3 lines, but ideally 4. A bow line, a couple spring lines, and a stern line. And extra lines are always recommended in stormy conditions. A standard boat knot is the clove hitch finished with a half hitch. Some like to use 2 wraps and a couple half hitches, or a bowline around a block. Either way they have her tied up, just make sure it's secure. During storm events, boats bounce around a little different, so you want to make sure that their rigging doesn't interfere with any pilings, wharf heads, or rafted vessels. Also, look at the boat's fenders, bumpers, balloons, whatever you want to call them. Just ensure there's adequate protection from both the boat and the harbor infrastructure. Part of dock walking, boat checking, or boat counting involves organizing the boats, ensuring efficient use of the harbor space. One thing you need to do sometimes is raft boats. If you need to raft boats, to organize your space efficiently, make sure you use similar hull sizes and hull types. Make sure you have adequate protection from each other. Always use lots of fenders. When the boats are rafted, make sure the lines hold them tight and the rigging doesn't interfere with each other. And that concludes the boat check. If you find any problems with tie-up lines, power cords, fenders, any problems with the boats, call your vessel operator right away and have them fix it. Now each harbor authority has its own way of organizing their dock space, but the main thing is you have a look at each boat daily and make sure she's sitting okay. I'm Clarke of Clarkey Contracting.